I just want to welcome everyone as we continue our alumni speaker series for this month. We are joined by Kim Karr. She's a 2001 graduate. She was physical education and she attended on the Fayette campus. Dr. Duffy, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I would. Thanks. And Kim, it's great to see you and great to have you here. I'm having a little trouble with technology as usual. So I'm very pleased, and I know how successful you've been, and you've met before and been together. And so it's just really a pleasure to have you joining us here. And I will say that the speaker series, we have a lot of alumni that participate, and it's great. It's a great program. And I think what it helps to do is for our students who are looking in their careers, what they might have. Our alumni have the opportunity to kind of tell them some of the challenges they face, give them some advice, and then allow time for questions and things like that. You've been there, I've been there, and so you're not sure when you're done, is it going to work out? And we like for our alums to kind of share their experiences. So thank you very much for participating. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Duffy.
Looking forward to hear you talk. I need some wisdom here. Okay. So
I'll do my best, but hey, I dressed up for you too.
I see that. Okay,
busted
good
this
job.
out in the old attire. So
I like that. Very good. Outstanding.
Thank you very much, Dr. Duffy.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Kim, I know there's several things that you want to talk about tonight, but can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be asked. I'm such a proud alumni of Upper Iowa. Not only did I graduate with summa cum laude, and I'm going to talk about how that was actually a huge win for me because I didn't do well in high school. And then I actually, not only did I go to Upper Iowa, but I played not only two sports, but I actually played 3 sports. So I got recruited to play softball by Dr. Karr and then also ended up playing soccer on the first men's team. And then the second year I played on the first women's team. And I also got recruited to do cross country because they needed a 5th person. So it was really fun to be a part of all that and part of the Fellowship Christian Athletes program. Was an RA, was a part of the administrative tour guide stuff. So I was very involved in Upper Iowa. Loved my experience there. I currently now have my own nonprofit. It's called #ICanHelp. And it educates and empowers students to use digital for good is what my current position is. I'm the executive director and the co-founder.
That's great. That's great. So I know one of the main topics you want to leave others with tonight is how your foundation at Upper Iowa was instrumental in helping you use your connections and land your first job teaching in California. Can you talk a little bit about why you decided to come to Upper Iowa and why it's been such an integral part of your career?
Yeah, so tonight's topic is going to be about failing, what I call failing forward. And it really does start right before I came to Upper Iowa. My senior year, I got called into the counselor's office, and you had to have a list of all your schools that you wanted to go to or what your plan was. And I had a list of colleges I was looking at to go play sports. And the counselor looked at my GPA, looked at my ACT test scores, and like I said, I didn't have the best scores. So they actually crossed off all of my options in front of me, and they just said, you just don't have the right scores. There's no way you can make it to this. And right there, I could have been a failure and just would have been like, oh, I guess college isn't an option for me. And I could have walked out and just kind of gave up, right? So from that, I actually went back to, Dr. Karr and just said, hey, this is, they told me. She's like, well, then go retake it. Go use your resources. So before I even came to Upper Iowa, you've already gotten coaching about, what I needed to do. And so I did the exact same thing, went and retook the scores, had the right team behind me to support me to be able to get to Upper Iowa. And like I said, go from that to graduating Upper Iowa with summa cum laude, at the highest honors, academic honors, was a huge thing. I could have failed, but I constantly choose to fail forward is kind of my main mentality. And then the neat part is right, when I was a senior in college, here I am going, what am I going to do? I can't find a job. I'm having a hard time. I was a physical education major, which is hard to find. And the football coach at Upper Iowa, Darren Foreman, I was working at the rec center at the time. He actually he actually said, hey, you need to go apply for this job out in California. I used to teach there. That's how I met my wife, at this little tiny school in Byron, California. Super tiny. It looks exactly like Fayette, and
Wow.
literally has no traffic lights, just like Fayette, and only has one middle school, has two elementaries. There's no high school in that town. Like, how many, synergy pieces is it, right? And so I never been to California. I did a phone interview for this teaching job, for this P job, and I got it. So it's just really cool to be able to, like, using your connections, and even talking about your dreams. Like, hey, I was talking to Mr. Darren Foreman about, like, this is my dream, is to get this kind of job, and then that's what happened. So I think that's the it's okay for people to talk about your failures and your struggles and these different things, because then people want to help you. They want to help you get to where you're trying to go. And I think that's just so powerful. So if you're in college right now and you're thinking about your future, talk about it. Talk about your struggles, talk about where you're trying to go, talk about your dreams, because somebody wants to help you to get to where you're trying to go. And even using LinkedIn and all these new things, because I do social media now, and it's like, use your network. Like, all these different people, add me on LinkedIn right now. If you're alumni, or if you're a current person, like, I went to Upper Iowa, of course I want to add you as a connection, just because I think that's so important. We're all here to help you.
We really stress building that network, whether it's through LinkedIn or just through your professors or mentors or anything like that. That's something that we really talk about with our students a lot. So it's great to hear how you use it and everything as well. So you're the executive director and co-founder of nonprofit #ICanHelp. Can you talk about your nonprofit? So, like, the progression of how it came to be, the Digital for Good campaign, along with some of the partners that stand behind your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm so honored, because again, I was in a town as big as Fayette, where it is not very, it's the school was about 500 students, and the town is not as big as the other towns in the area. So it's so cool that this nonprofit that is now nationwide was built from a small school, just like Upper Iowa.
Yeah.
And because I learned how to use your connections and utilize that, right? So right now, our nonprofit is called #ICanHelp, but we are about to change, and we have an event every year called Digital for Good, where we get to celebrate youth innovation of how they're using digital for good online. We get to celebrate it. So that's resonating with more companies. So we are in the process right now changing the name to Digital for Good. And how you can help is underneath that. It's I Can Help Lead, which is our intern and mentoring program. So we have a huge internship program. So if there's any students who are looking for an internship, come get the experience. We've got everything from marketing, video production, creating curriculum, to PR, business development, business research. So it's all there. It's such a cool thing that you can be in Fayette, but do it remotely. But then you're getting to work with giant companies that we're partnered with now. So then the next phase, it's I Can Help Lead, I Can Help Educate, which is our curriculum, courses, and trainings that we build for schools. And then we also have I Can Help Engage, which is our social media platforms, our events, and our webinars. And it's just fun to be able to get everybody to Digital for Good. And we bridge that gap between students, schools, and companies. So our big partners now are everything from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Supercell, Riot Games, Google. All of them have partnered with us because they see that we allow students to be a part of the solution. And that's what you need to do, is there's a problem online, and we need to have everybody be a part of it.
That's excellent. So from what I've gathered in your conversations with Annie is that you're a bit of a risk taker when it comes to your career and being successful. Can you talk a little bit about some of the professional risks you've taken and how their outcomes, whether they be failures or successes, have helped you in your career?
Yeah. Well, I mean, right there, I mean, even from the get-go, and I love the chat session. So I want to be engaging. So again, how many of you guys have been afraid of failure, right? So put in the chat if you're like, yes, that's me. Like, you've been afraid of failure. And I think you have to take risk. So even from that counselor, I could have been afraid of failure and just like gave up, and I continued on. And not only did I keep going, like I do have like thoughts that I'm stupid because I got held back in 3rd grade. So I have to like kind of push past that. But I actually At Upper Iowa, my freshman year, I was in a class with all men. My
Wow.
class with Kathy Thomas was my first class. It was an English Foundations class. It was all men. And not only did I have a class with all guys, that was then I actually was on an all men soccer team, was the only girl on that team. And right there, it was teaching me how to take risk and like I had to do something, right? So my first job, I not only was my first year of teaching, they gave me being the athletic director. And so I had to take risks because if I couldn't find a coach, I had to coach it. If I couldn't find a referee, I had to ref it. And I got to the point of like creating my first league. I created the league in that area. So we actually created the first middle school league out in California in that area, which is now still exist. And then I also was the first activities director. And I created programs, academic programs for success, because when I first got to the school, I was taking lots of risk because there were students, when they're in the hallways, they're like, how many Fs do you have? I have 3, and they're having a competition who can have the most Fs. And so then I just built this like academic program, like, hey, we're going to have a competition who can get the better grades. And that's how we kind of flipped it. And then I left teaching. I got this consistent job, consistent pay to go work for my own nonprofit. And, now you got COVID where we get most of our money is from schools. And that's been difficult, but I think it's taking that risk of knowing, building that process and going after that. And again, I can sit there and I can measure how much I failed, or I can measure how much I've gained and how much I've been successful. And I think that's the more powerful piece, is if we can look at our gains instead of our failures. And I think that's where people kind of sometimes go wrong. So I'm just going to here to challenge you. You can fail, put in the thing if you failed, like, yes, I failed. Just as long as you move forward and keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can definitely say that there's been times where I failed and had to keep going too. So I hope some people will get in the chat and tell us about their experiences with that as well. So how would you encourage others to take risk without being afraid of failure?
Well, and actually, let me just screen share, because I think it's fun just to be able to pick some pictures and get some kind of a piece. But here's the first all men's soccer team at Upper Iowa, and there I am in the front row to the far right, the only girl. So again, like this was scary. So the encouragement is, it's surround yourself. There were men on this team, I will be honest with you, there were men on this team that flat out said, girls are only on this earth to cook, clean, and have babies. But then there were also men on this team who 100% supported me and stayed after practice to make sure that I got the training that I needed, because they believed in me. That person was one of those guys that had my back. And I think that's the biggest thing, is getting the people to surround you makes you successful. So that is number one, is who surrounds you to make that kind of piece. Another just kind of fun story to share about failure. Just encourage you, because I think we have to be authentic and real and share failure stories. My friend invited me to go see Britney Spears, and we were going to do like a meet and greet afterwards. And all I had to do was buy the plane ticket. When I got to the airport, I had booked the wrong plane a month. The thing, there was no tickets. The company's like, it's Valentine's week, there's no seats, nothing. I felt like a complete and utter failure. And I'll get to the kind of the point of this, but I want you guys to get there. Like, we feel this. So I just want to ask and open up to the chat, and please drop it in there. Like, what do you feel like is your epic failure? Because I will tell you, there was times in that soccer team at Upper Iowa where I felt like a failure. There were times like that Britney story, I felt like a complete epic failure. And it's like, we're going to have those feelings, have those moments. We have to encourage others by sharing these epic failures, because all we see on social media now is all the success stories.
Yes.
We don't, because that's their life. We don't, yeah, right? And so I think that's the biggest piece. And so here's my plan every day, right? Every day there's my plan, and below that is the reality. Like, because does that resonate with you, that bottom picture?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I think this is the thing, is I think humans are making it harder for people to get to that flag, because they're creating more issues. We're not helping more people get to this, and we're being more judgy, and we're, making comments on social media that we don't need to be making, and we're not helping people. So this is the part I just really want to encourage people, is start asking yourself when you're having these bad days, because you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad week, a bad month, or a bad year, right? Are you above the line or are you below the line? And I think this will hopefully encourage you, because when I get into these situations, I do pause and ask myself this. If you're above the line, you're being a victor. And if you're being below the line, you're being a victim. And it's so easy to get into that victim mentality of being blame and blaming somebody else and making excuses. But we need to switch it and have that victor mentality of taking ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And it really does get to the point, because it does get to that point. I did actually get to meet Britney Spears. This is the most awkward picture I've ever taken in my entire life. It's the most epic picture. But here's what happened when I was at that airport and I didn't have the right flight, and they're telling me you can't do this. I seriously was thinking, am I above the line or below the line? I took accountability. I said, listen, this is my fault. I'm on flight. What can we do? Because I stayed so positive and I just kept asking questions and kept praising the worker who was helping me. Someone did come up there and they actually canceled their flight. And all of a sudden the manager looked at me, says, we have a spot open for you. It's just gonna be a few minutes. Do you think that would have happened to me if I was below the line, right? Same thing with Upper Iowa. Oh, by the way, I failed my driver's test multiple times, my permit test. Not only did I fail it once, twice, 3 times, I failed it 7 times, my permit test. The cool thing about this is I shared that with Denise. I got to take her to go get her permit and she failed. And I was like, it's okay. I failed it 7 times. How many times are you going to fail it? She failed it only 2 times. I'm like, you're more successful than me already. So again, if we tell these stories and look, we're cruising together, right? And there's me. I felt like a failure some days when I was playing, but then when I see pictures like this of me knocking guys over on the soccer field, like this is that part we have to start asking ourselves. I can be a victim of being these guys knocking me over, or I can be like, nope, I'm going to be a victor and take accountability. And I stayed after practice and worked hard and did what I needed to do to get where I wanted to go. So that I'm hoping speak something to somebody today, because man, we need to hear it more, that it's okay to fail. And you just gotta, keep being above that line and being a victor.
That's excellent. And that picture you showed with the oar and the bed, like that is great. Like, and it just really helps you keep it in mind. Like, am I having a victor mentality right now? Or am I having a victim mentality right now? Plus, I can tell you, I think I failed my permit test 4 times. So that's okay. My parents
You're more
thought I was never going to drive. So when it comes to comparing ourselves to others, what would you say to those who find themselves always comparing their path and their choices to someone else's path and their choices?
Yeah, I mean, what I do with my nonprofit is all about social media, right? And I think mental health, there's so much mental health component with, there's proven facts. Anxiety and depression have increased 37% since smartphones came out. If you think about it, right? Like, how many of you guys have sent a text message to the wrong person? You freak out. You're like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Or how many of you guys got put into a group chat and you don't even know who's in the group chat? You're like, who's in here? So there's so many awkward situations, but the biggest one why anxiety has in there, and it's been proven on this, and Meta, aka Facebook, is getting in trouble for it because they knew that there was some mental health, is the comparing, right? So the likes and the how many likes or how many comments do you have, you're comparing yourself. And the biggest thing is you can't compare my chapter 30 because I'm actually a professional speaker. I get paid to go speak now. You can't compare my chapter 30. I've been doing this for a while now to your first chapter. Like if you're just getting up on stage to speak for the first time in front of an audience, you can't compare what I do to what you do. So I think that's the biggest things. We can't compare what other people are posting. We just need to start celebrating more people. We need to celebrate what they're doing instead of comparing ourselves to others.
Definitely. And I think that kind of goes back to what you said earlier, as far as like we share all those positive things on Facebook. And so then people think like, oh, this person has never failed in their life. Like, look at those pictures. They're perfect and they're always going on vacation. And we're not seeing that other side, and not seeing that we have more in common than what social media shows. So making connections and networking again, it's so important in helping with advancement in our fields and pursuing our dreams. What would you say is your biggest piece of advice to making connections and how others can do that successfully?
Yeah, I mean, well, being authentic and real, like I said, it's hard to share, stories about failure, but again, that's who you are. That's made you who you are. And it's made, even getting held back in third grade, that's made me who I am. Failing the permit test 7 times made me who I am. Not doing well in my ACTs and my GPA in high school made me who I am. And I think we need to be more authentic and real. And even on our social media, I'm not saying to go on there and vent about your day. That's not what I'm asking, but I'm just saying to be real with people. And that's how you make those connections, because people see it and they want to be a part of it. And I think it is showing up too. Like I actually went and met up with Dr. Duffy in California when they came out for an alumni event. Show up. Right? Show up to these events. They're there for a reason. They want you to make connections. There's so many opportunities. Take these opportunities. I mean, man, LinkedIn is full on a regular basis. I choose to go post on my social to get my message out there, and I choose to comment on other people's because I want to keep making connections with people. And taking that initiative, you want experience, go get it. Don't sit there and just be in your comfort corner. Go get that experience, especially in the career readiness. Like, get out there. I love it when I have interns reach out and they are like, I want the experience. What do I need to do? And I'm like, let's go. I got you. So I think that's the biggest piece. And we do have a huge internship program for students. If anybody's wanting to, that's where you need to go is get that connections.
Excellent. So speaking of your interns or your coworkers, people that you work with, what are 2 to 3 strengths and leadership qualities that you look for in the people that you work with?
Yeah, I love when students ask this question in the interview process, like, what is your job? So just when you're in an interview, you should be asking what the company's what they're looking for and what skills. So what our answer is for our company is communication, because we are remote working. We've been remote even before COVID. And so communication is so important to us, like knowing what's going on. Everyone needs to be on the same page. And it's also like the teamwork piece. I think it's like the teamwork, so you're going to have a diverse team. I mean, it's 2022. Everyone's hiring diverse. They want diverse people. They want diverse thoughts, right? Having that kind of that piece, and it's taking initiative, taking risks. It's very interesting being in education. Valedictorians, it's proven fact, which I find interesting. I've had people tell me this because of my issues I had in the past of me thinking, oh, I'm a failure because I failed and I failed third grade and I'm stupid. But it's actually proven fact that people who are valedictorians, even salutatorians, they actually don't do well in business. They don't get very high up because they're not risk takers. Sure. Because what they do is they purposely position themselves to get the right GPA, but that's it. So it is take the initiative, take the risk to kind of set yourself apart, and make people notice you. And I think those are some skills that we're looking for in our career, to make people stand out and do well in our company.
All right, and we do have a question that just popped up in the chat. How do you create a workforce community when always being remote? Are you always on Zoom?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. We literally call ourselves the I Can Help family because that's what we really have established. It's truly is a family. And yes, we use Google Meets, so it's not Zoom, it's Google Meets, but we use Google Meets. But what's neat about it is we meet weekly and have have an opening question, everything from your highs and lows and of the week to give us your most basic characteristic. Usually it's their Starbucks order, and but we have fun and we ask questions. I give out prizes, so even though you're on remote, I can give out fun prizes to make it feel like so here's your crappy gift. You gotta tell me if it's happy or crappy. a day of spearing right inside a big plastic ball. So is this happy or crappy for you?
That would be happy. I think that would be great.
So see, right? And so that's how we celebrate when someone does something. I'll give them a present like that, like, here's your prize. And we just have fun with it because we have to laugh because it is virtual.
Yeah.
But then they, text each other to check in with each other. We have great mentoring events. So I know we just did a resume one in December. In February, we have a LinkedIn event planned with our mentors. They're going to do smaller breakout rooms so that they get the personal connections and one-on-ones.
Excellent. And another question. So how did the idea of hashtag I can help come to light, and how long has it been in existence?
Yeah. So 2011 is gosh, wow. 2011 is when someone made a fake Facebook page on one of the teachers at my school, and it was really mean, like super hurtful. And they had it got up to 1,000 followers. And again, we didn't have that many students at our school, so they like were on there. Went on for about 2 weeks, and no one told anybody. No student was telling adults. So finally, I had one student come tell me this was happening. I asked them, I said, hey, why didn't we tell anybody? They go, I didn't want anybody to make fun of me, right? They didn't want the whole snitching get snitches. And I basically just said, yeah, you're probably going to get made fun of, but you're going to find out who your real friends are and who your real friends aren't. Because like you told me, you'd never want anyone to make a fake page on you. So we had a conversation with the students like, hey, how should we have handled this? So I just started pausing and educating them on it. And then from that, the next year, someone made a fake Instagram page and the exact same teacher, but this time, instead of it going on for 2 weeks, it was shut down in 40 minutes because the students went on there and respectfully commented, knowing what to say. And it was a student who took it down instead of Instagram. So then from that, it was constantly teaching, because I got more students coming to me with all kinds of fake pages or hate pages, people asking them for nudes, not knowing what to say, them sending the nudes, not knowing what to do. So it was constantly teach them how to do this. So we've now created this program where it walks them through how to handle these situations and how to be what we call digital first responder. They're the first ones to the scene. I don't see their snaps. Their TikTok algorithm is different than mine. Their For You page is different than mine. And so it's been an official nonprofit since 2013.
Excellent. Excellent. So career readiness is, of course, a hot topic in career services and among employers as well. What competencies do you feel are most important to helping excel in one's career goals, and why?
Yeah, well, again, going back to communication. I just think, and communication also includes listening. I think a lot of people want to be the one who talks, and I'm one of those people who are actually in meetings, I usually sit and listen. I want to be known as the person when she speaks, like it must matter. So it is listen first, and make sure you know like the roles of everybody and know what people do. Because I think that's part of that communication, so that you can praise them and tell them when they're doing well. And teamwork is such a big thing now with having, with a diverse group, right? That you want to have different people. Don't surround yourself with the same who are so like-minded as you. Like, get with using teamwork with people. And then I think it's also like ask good follow-up questions, right? When you're given certain tasks, like ask good follow-up questions on where you're going with it. I think that's a career readiness and being prepared for it. And the initiative piece, man, that just sets you apart from everybody else.
Sure. I know as far as like asking those follow-up questions, that's something that we stress a lot too. We say, make sure you're asking those questions when you're interviewing with the company. Make sure you're asking those questions when you're in your internship and learning as much as you can. And I also tell students, like, it's okay to say, I don't know, but I can ask somebody and I can get the answer. So that's my big thing. Like, it's okay to say, I don't know, but I'm going to learn and I'm going to share it with you when I do learn. So how would you encourage others to help improve those skills and competencies to ensure they are career ready? I think we're a little frozen.
believe our screen froze.
Yeah. We'll give it a little bit here and hopefully it will come back
Are you able
on.
to hear me
just
on
heard-
here?
I can hear you. Yep.
Okay, good, good. I think the screen froze.
There we go.
Can you ask that question one more time?
Yes. So how would you encourage others to help improve those skills and competencies to ensure they are career ready?
Readiness. Okay, got it. Yeah, experience. I mean, it comes down to it, right? And you got to jump in, get the experience. So if you're in college, go get the experience by doing internships, right? And put yourself into it. If you're ready or in a job, go volunteer. I really feel like I don't think enough people are volunteering. If you've got kids, your kids need to see you volunteering. They're not going to do that unless, and I know that's the reason why volunteer has gone down, is because there's less parents volunteering for things. So your kids need to see you volunteer. They need to see you improving your skills in order for them to want to improve their skills. So adults, even if you're in your professional things, what is something that what's a skill you want to work on? Make sure you're trying to improve it and get the experience so that your kids see you do it. And then the people who are in college, they're looking for experience. There's all kinds of interns. I got 12-year-olds asking me for an internship position, 11-year-olds asking me, like, there's some really diehard kids who want the experience and they want it now because they're that passionate. So you're never too old, because I'm also getting older people to get experience and I'm getting young people. So get the experience. That's what it comes down to.
So how many interns do you usually have at a time with your organization?
Yeah. So we have, oh, you're freezing up.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we're, you're okay. I can hear your questions.
Okay.
I got it. So we have 2 internship programs. One is the annual side of it, and that's students who want to work from June to June, and they signed up for it. And it's everything from college to 13-year-olds, and they're working on student-led, student-run, student initiatives projects, which is super cool to watch. It's all their projects that they think spotlighted. Everything you see on our Instagram page is 100% driven by our student internship program. The other one is our seasonal internship, and that is college students looking for college experience or for college credit. And that's usually it's about 6 months is what they're coming in for to get that experience. And so we have 70 annual and we have about 45 to 55 seasonal, depending on the time a year. And then we have about 250 volunteers that come in and hop in and help, including mentors. So adult mentors that come in to help us. So we're always looking for people who want to jump in and help us, because we're growing. I mean, social media is here and it's here to stay, and there's a lot of things that are happening, and people are feeling like they're failing on social media because of one thing they posted, and it's like, we're gonna make sure we help you get through those hard times too.
Yeah, and I did notice earlier, I was kind of looking at your website. You had like some trainings on there that people could do, and I believe that was for them to be able to become a mentor. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Anybody can come and help us out. You just tell us what your skills are, and then you're able to work with some students to help them with their projects.
That's excellent. And that's excellent for the students too, because that's a built-in network right there while having the experience of an internship. So that's excellent. Any final pieces of advice that you would give to Upper Iowa students, alums, and the university community?
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with it, because again, it just goes back to that failure piece. Is we're not very kind to ourselves. And I just think you constantly, I don't know, I'm my biggest enemy. And so I have to do affirmations. So Dr. Duffy, I'm hoping you'll volunteer and join us. So you have to say some statements, and we're gonna play along with it. So audience, you gotta do it as well. So the first one I always do is I point at myself and I say, I am awesome.
You want me to do that?
Yeah, come on, say I'm awesome. And
I'm not kidding, I'm
I am
awesome, okay?
awesome.
I'm serious.
I know you know it. I know you know you're awesome. And then the other one, there's 4 of them. So the next one is I like to flex muscles, because again, you got to get into it a little bit. I say I'm a powerful person, right? Because you got to realize, man, use your power. So go ahead, flex your muscles.
All
So
right.
you're a powerful person.
I'm a powerful person. Yes.
Powerful, darn it.
Right? And
At
the
least
next
that's
one,
what Sharon
this one's
says.
really fun. It's you get it like don't listen to her. You gotta have your
Okay.
on this one thing. Everything else you gotta listen to her.
Okay.
The next one's fun. You gotta do a little dance, and it's like I call it the money dance. And you gotta say, I got skills to pay the bills. Because you gotta get rid of those self-doubts, like, hey, I got this. You got the skills
I
to
got
pay the bills.
skills to pay the bills.
I got skills to pay the
Sweet.
bills. Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Karen will agree with you on that one. There you go.
Okay. I hope nobody else is watching this. Okay.
Everybody is watching Dr. Duffy.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right now. Okay, no, go
Here we
ahead.
go. Last one. All it is at the end, you just gotta cross your arms, right? And just look at yourself right now in the Zoom, right? Look at yourself in the mirror, wherever you're at. I even do it with my camera sometimes because I just gotta remind myself these things because we take life so seriously and we don't have fun. So just like cross my arm and I just look at myself and I'm like, gosh darn it, you should like me. Come on.
Well, gosh darn it, you should like me.
You should like me. Definitely. Definitely. Why would you
And
not?
again, you're
Exactly.
exactly right. And again, we have to be kinder to ourselves. We got to be kinder to others, and it's okay if we fail. It's okay if we, do these things, but let's just remind ourselves we are awesome. We are powerful. We do have skills that can pay the bills and people do like you, right? And you should like yourself. So that's I just want to leave everybody with that. And I'm hoping it makes you think a little bit.
Definitely. Definitely. I love it. And I think affirmations, like, yes, like they'll make you laugh, they'll make you giggle, they'll make Dr. Duffy dance, but they help. We all have
That's
smiles
right.
on our
That's right.
faces, and I'm sure that all of our viewers have smiles on their faces too. I just want to thank you so much, Kim, for being here tonight. And I want to thank everybody that watched our live and Dr. Duffy for being here as well. So it was excellent.
I also want to thank you. I think it's always good for our students to see this. And I will echo so many of your comments. Everybody, you'll make mistakes through your entire life. And I think when those happen, you have to decide which way you're going to go. And just realize everybody makes these mistakes. And the crazy thing is oftentimes we worry about some things. And when it comes to what really happens in the future, or you're worrying about these things, majority of times it's what you worry about it's more than anything, and it's turns out to be not even close to as bad as it could have been. So thank you so much for those encouraging words and that positive attitude. And Sharon knows me. I say I'll take a positive person anytime. I do not like to be around negative people. Even if they're positively wrong on something, I'll take that. I want positive people. So anyway, so thanks so much. Okay. And we can't wait till we get together again, Kim. Okay.
All right. Thanks to everybody watching us on Facebook. This will conclude our series for tonight, and we will be back next month.
Feathers up, family. Let's go.
Thank you all.